All right, welcome on in everyone to this episode of First CSP, the channel dedicated to bringing you the first council shoulder patch issued from each council in Scouting America, both past and present. Today we're going to take a look at Salle 165 out of Indiana. This council was originally formed in 1991 as the merger of Northern Indiana and part of Southwest Michigan. Head on over to the patch table. We will find that the first issue is divided into two variants, the S1A and S1B. We are, of course, starting on the table with the S1A with its dark blue border, blue background, yellow fleur-de-lis, and the bird on the right, they do note, has no eye. I think that it was intended to be stitched as an eye, and you can kind of almost see like an indentation here, but no eye ends up being present. We do have several examples of the S1B, as this has, I believe, been the standard regular issue for uniform wear, and so they've gone through multiple reproductions, or I'm sorry, multiple production runs of the patch. Here is an example, or one of the examples, of the S1B. The difference between the two, again, is going to be the bird on the right having an eye. So here is the comparison that you're going to see. You can see the kind of indentation, but there is no real black thread for the eye, whereas here in the S1B, we are going to find that all of the S1Bs will essentially have an eye. And that's the differentiating factor. Some of these look similar in how they were produced, but if it doesn't have an eye, we're looking at the S1A, and everything else would just be grouped together as an S1B. I'll show you again as we go here multiple different S1Bs. Taking a look at the back here, we have a plain plastic back on the S1A, and we can see a essentially similar production style for this particular S1B, also the plain plastic back, and they were probably produced at similar times. They also have fairly similar fleur-de-lis, and we get somewhat similar representations for the council name here. As far as the thickness of the letters, we get a little bit more golden on the S1A with no eye. This trends to be a little more on the yellow side if you look at it in person. I'm going to take off the S1A here, move up this particular S1B, and look at another S1B. This one, the border in person does come out to look more navy as opposed to just the dark blue. This is considerably darker in person. We also see that the council name gets to be quite a bit thicker, and the fleur-de-lis starts to be more full, whereas this is kind of the thinner fleur-de-lis. Both this top S1B, and when we go back looking at the S1A, they had that kind of thinner armed fleur-de-lis, whereas now we're starting to get a more full one in this representation. Again, here we can clearly see the eye, just as we can here. So both of these would just be labeled as S1Bs. This one also having the plain plastic back. Again, presence of the eye on the bird here is going to be what's defining it as an S1B. And then they have continued to produce this. So I believe here we have just a more recent run, obviously a much more modern production run. I believe this would still be considered an S1B. Just double checking, they don't have any other regular issues that would be classified. Otherwise, this one does have a plastic scout backing, the BSA 2010 backing, also still going to be just considered an S1B. So that's the most recent one. Looks pretty clean. I do like that. We'll put that up against the S1A here as kind of our parting shot for the episode. You can see again, fidelity of the color is a little bit different. These earlier patches, obviously the weaving, stitching on the background is considerably different as this is computer designed for sure. But this one just comes across as lighter as well. But there you have it for the first issues for LaSalle, the S1A, as well as several production runs of the S1B. Hopefully that helps you all with identification if you're trying to discern the early issues here for LaSalle. We'll be back again tomorrow with another brand new episode of First CSP. We hope to see you back for that. Until then, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.